All right, we are live. Hello, everybody. All right, I am starting to share, and I hope you are doing the same. Let's get some sharing going. We're just a couple of minutes late, but that is nothing to be afraid of. We're still going to have an amazing conversation. And so I'm hoping that you are starting to share right now. And not only that, but let us know that you're here. I am going to take just a moment to let folks know in other groups that we are ready for them to come on over. And we hope that you are doing the same. How are you all tonight? How you feeling? What's going on? Say hello to us. Let us know that you're here. And we are about to get started. Almost there. All right. I think I've shared everywhere I need to share. My name is Trenace Richardson, and I am the founder of Real Women. And we exist to create safe spaces for women to do personal development work on themselves. And I'm so excited today to have our special guest with us, to have what we call, the birds are going to be talking. They're going to talk while I'm talking. This is gonna be beautiful. And so hold on, y'all. I'm gonna get the birds. Isn't that hilarious? I just realized that they were in my son's parakeets are in here. That's hilarious. Okay, so we are going to have a real conversation, and we try on Wednesdays to give you a sneak peek into a real conversation with real women, because we normally host sister circles, and we do them both live and virtually, but we are doing them virtually in this season of COVID. And what we've decided in this season, because we would normally allow you to come as a first time and be a guest, and then we have a fee because we have rental fees and all that kind of thing. We've decided to open up the windows and allow anyone and everyone to come, every woman to come and be a part of it free of charge. And, you know, of course, you're always welcome to donate to us. We are an official 501c3. But we just had an amazing sister circle this past Saturday entitled The Spirituality of Sexuality. And what we do is we try our best to make sure that women have an opportunity to just talk about things that they would not normally have the opportunity to talk about. And so we've done that. And then this coming at the end of the month, I'm gonna get rid of them in a second, y'all. At the end of the month, we're going to be having one called Self-Care After a Breakup. And so if you are in a position where you are ending a relationship, you have ended a relationship, if you are divorced, if you are thinking about it, you're probably not taking care of yourself the way that you should. And we want you to do that. So please join us so that we can have that conversation together at the end of the month. You can find all of that information at realwomenrock.org. Again, that's realwomenrock.org. So go there and check us out. All right. So those are all the announcements for now. We'll give you some more at the end, but I want you to meet again, because if you've been here, you know that this woman has been with us before, and she is absolutely amazing. I called her in the description the West Coast Wonder Woman, because there is not anything that she is not doing right now. And so not only is she, being a mom and to her children and a wife to her husband, but they have ministry and business that they do together. And then she is a licensed therapist, and she has begun a brand new venture that I was so excited about that I wanted her to come here and talk about it a little bit. So Aiyana, Maya, would you mind just saying hello to the people and telling a little bit about what you do while I get rid of these birds? Talk to them.
Yes, yes, I can do that. Those birds are here, okay? They're like, we are
here for it. Go ahead.
Yes, so I'm so happy to be on tonight talking with Trenace and the whole Real Women team and family. My name is Aiyana, and I am the founder of Perspective Counseling and Therapy and the Therapy for Black Folks Facebook group. And what I'm doing and what my team is really working on right now is something that we're really excited about, but we'll be launching next month, a 100% virtual online counseling platform specifically targeting Black folks. We are geared towards meeting the needs of African Americans because we have unique insight, we have unique challenges, we have unique needs. And so because I didn't see a space where you could go and know for sure that you were getting something that's culturally competent, that you could know that folks know where you're coming from, it could fit it into your schedule, just get on your tablet or smartphone or whatever and start your work. I said, let me figure out how I can do that, because it really is a part of my heart's work and what I'm really passionate about. So I'm really excited about that. I also work with my husband in our company, and we've done couples work and workshops and teachings and that kind of thing for some time. And so I'm just here because I'm happy to be here with you, and I appreciate you letting me come on and talk about real women. That's what I love to talk about, real women, because I don't have time for the fakery. So I love the real
No, you know, it was like that was, of course, God inspired, divinely inspired name, because I was just tired. I was tired. This is the truth. I was tired of being fake at one point because I felt like I had to measure up and meet expectations of others. And then
yeah.
I just got tired of fake people. So
How about it?
so we really just,
Mhm.
and it's what we aspire toward, right? All of us aspire to be able to not live some compartmentalized life where we have to be this way one here and this way another way here. And so, yeah, we're authentic and real here. So let's get this going. I love what you shared about all that you're doing. Y'all, you need to go to some of her communities because she's got the Art of Overcoming. She's got therapy for Black folks, and we have a ball in there. Some good stuff happening in that Facebook group. But because you have been a therapist for years and you've seen the need for therapy, I have noticed that over these maybe the last decade or so, it hasn't been stigmatized as much as it has been in the past. You know, we give ourselves a pass for therapy more often than not these days. But I think that for some of us, we don't invest in it when we should. I think we wait until, you know, the hinges are about to fall off and we're about to fall completely apart. And so could you just talk about and this is what I want to know from you guys, because y'all know this is a conversation and not just a one way. I want to know if you've ever been to counseling. If you all those who are watching us, have you ever been to counseling? Have you thought that it was helpful to you? That's what I want to know from you all. How helpful has counseling been to you? Or are you someone who has never been? And you may want to talk about that a little bit in the chat, because we'll come back to that and just discuss it a bit. But Aiyana, could you just talk a little bit about the importance of investing in it, and not just, you know, when we're about to lose all of our marbles?
Yeah, that's right. That's right. I mean, you hit it. That the word investment is really important, because when we think about investing, we're either or doing a combination of these things, investing our time, our money, our energy, and our focus. And so when we are really trying to give something to something that we believe in, then we really do have to get our minds right for it. And when I talk to folks, I've done a lot of talking to folks about, like, so, you know, why is it that even those who, as you talked about, you know, don't have the same kind of thoughts about therapy, don't feel it's an issue, they're like, yeah, I'm here for it. Why is it that we still, some of the most educated and insightful and, you know, helping everybody else, encouraging other folks to go and do their work, why we don't go to therapy? What are we doing? What's up with that? And I asked that question because I'm like, you know, I've been in that category of times where I'm like, I need to go sit myself down somewhere, and I've not been able to do, no, not that I have not been able, but I have not gone and sat down somewhere to get myself into therapy at different times. And I've seen that with other folks. And what I hear people say a lot is I don't have the time, and B, they're like, I don't have the money, and then C, I don't know where to go. Like I don't have the energy to figure that out, because that's a whole process unto itself. I gotta look up people and find, you know, referrals, and it's just too much. And what I basically hear, though, Trinace, when I hear that is, I just don't value myself enough to do that, because I got to be there for this person. I got to do this for this situation. I want to, you know, put life into my children, into my this and my that. But I really, you know, because guess what? if our children are in need, I always use children as an example, and they need something, oh, we're going to spend the time. I'm sorry, no, I can't do that. I'm going to take off work if I got to, right?
Yeah,
And
we
I'm going
will
to spend
do it.
all day long finding what I need for my child. But we won't do the same thing for ourselves, you know? So I think it's a matter of priority. And really being willing to invest not only the money, but the actual energy and the time and the focus to really give to ourselves. And people don't, you know, we don't always see that about ourselves.
Yeah, yeah. So somebody has already said, thank you for that. Somebody's already said, absolutely love my therapy sessions. I know that's right. So listen, we want to know from you all how comfortable you are currently with therapy. Some of us are even afraid to admit that we go. It's just,
Yeah.
it's really sad. And especially whether it's in relationships or individual counseling, it could be family counseling with the kids, but there are reasons for all of that. And like you said, it's time. I got a lot of hearts. So a lot of people are loving the fact that that therapy is important, but whether it's time, as you said, money, and then I just want to talk about this piece about how to find a good one really quickly, because so I'm a church girl, come from church, all of that. And so I was told, you know, growing up, I've heard go see the pastor. And so these are real conversations. So we just gonna go there. And so I want to see what your thoughts are as a licensed therapist, as someone who is building a platform where you are vetting therapists so that you will people won't have to find a good therapist. They can come to your site. They will know that all the folks that are there have been vetted. I'm just curious what your thoughts are as it relates to pastoral counseling or going the route of someone who's not licensed. Just curious from a licensed therapist point of view.
Yeah. So just so folks have some context, you know, I'm a PK. You know, my mother and father pastor for 20 some years. My mom has a doctorate in pastoral counseling, and she's a social worker, right? So you know, I've been able to have folks blessing me who were licensed and had credentials, and who didn't have no license, no credentials, and you know, it doesn't really have to do with that as much as it has to do with really paying attention to where you are and what you need. And so I think a lot of times people say, oh, well, you know, I think from my experience, the church in some ways has been like, oh, you know, you can come and talk to Jesus and lay your burdens down right here at the altar. And you ain't got to go spend all that money, right? But once you've laid your burdens down, right, because therapy does allow you to put some things down and to put them down, then you've got to be able to hold them up to the light. And you got to be able to start to parse through those things and look at, you know, what are the patterns here? What's the, you know, irrational thinking and the thoughts that keep with me, and what's the stuff that happened way back when? Like, you got to really be able to do that. If I need someone to help speak life over me and give me a word and deposit something into my spirit and give me some encouragement, you know, I can, and give me some counsel, go to the word here, go and look this up, right? Then I think that there is definitely a place and space for our spiritual community, because as Black folks, I mean, that's who we are. But at the same
at one point that was all we had too.
That's right.
Yep.
That's right. So that's my foundation. And when we talk about culturally competent counseling, a lot of times Black folks, we are like, I don't even know how to be talking about myself without talking about God, or talking about whatever it is I'm dealing with, you know. So we need to be able to address the whole of who we are, whether we're sitting in a counselor's office or in a minister's office. But I do think that the same way we go to the medical doctor, and there is a specific concern because people specialize in certain things, you know, my leg is messed up, or, you know, I got asthma, or I have diabetes or high blood pressure. We wouldn't just say, I'm gonna go talk to this person over here who has seen some things in their life, and they have some words for you, but they don't have specific strategies. Perhaps they don't really know necessarily what is going on in your brain, and can really advise you and counsel you around that. We need to give credence to the fact that there are things that we do not have the ability to get from certain places and spaces. And it doesn't take away from our church family, it doesn't take away from the power of our faith. And that's been like something that I've heard in our community for a long time. You don't have enough faith, or you need to pray on it some more, or, you know, really get in the word, you know, and you can do that. You can do all that stuff. And you're like, dang, deal. I'm still struggling with this very, 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 very much. And there are some things that need different kinds of interventions and different kinds of insight. And so I think it all matters to kind of come back to your question. All of the ways that we can get help matter and are important. But if we have persistent issues, for example, around depression or anxiety or negative thinking that just is pervasive and, we just can't seem to get away from it. It's disrupting our life in terms of how we live, then we need to seek professional help. And that's an all right thing to do.
Yeah, thank you for that. You bring up so much that I think is important for us. And I love your balanced view of it, right? Because the idea is we don't have to forsake anything that has been important to us,
Yes.
anything that is meaningful for us. And I love what you said. We want to be able to bring all of us to counseling. And so we don't want anyone looking puzzled when we talk about, what God did or what we wanted God to do when we're sitting in counseling. And at the same time, we want to make sure that it's a good fit and that they are meeting our needs. And so it can be for many a both and not an either or is what I hear you saying.
Yes.
And I love that because many of us we can have, whether it's depression or some serious illness or whatever, if we are not taking the steps, the practical, real steps to get healthy in whatever ways, whether that's processing, whether that's ongoing counseling, for some people it's medication, for some people it's rehab, whatever that is, we can get laid hands. It's not in the hands. We can get laid down. It's just we're gonna wake up oily and still needing some help. And so it's really important that we do the balance of it, I think. And so some folks are agreeing and saying, oh, this is good. Levon says was raised in a house that what goes on in this house stays in this house. And she was willing to break that tradition so that therapy ends up being the best move for her and her family. And I think we have to break that as a people, right? Yeah. You said perspective is about finding culturally competent counselors so that there is no translation needed in what you're going through and how you can talk about it. So to come with our angst about, traumas that have happened in childhood that nobody's ever talked about and all that kind of stuff, to be able to go and sit with someone who has similar experience or has studied or experienced what we have, it makes all the difference in the world. So we breaking that tradition, right?
Yes, that's right. That's right. No more secrets.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. What have you found to be, especially in the season of COVID, right? Hopefully, prayerfully, we're coming, out of it, but we know fall and winter is coming back and people are going out and getting more comfortable. And so we would hope that all of us are being as careful as we can be, but we're living life and we're dealing with Corona and we're dealing with this political season and we're dealing with racial unrest and injustices. There's just a whole lot going on. When you are talking to women, especially, what are you experiencing and hearing from them in this season? And as a result, what are you sharing? And I know it runs the gamut, but is there anything that rises to the top that you've found yourself hearing over and over again and it has caused you to say some similar things over and over again?
Yeah. And you're right. It has run the gamut, but there are a couple of things that really stand out that keep coming up over and over again. And it's two things: overwhelm, complete and utter overwhelm, and guilt, feeling very guilty. And the overwhelm, for a lot of us as women, is really about trying to figure out, where should my voice be? How should I be doing? How do I take care of my household? First of all, we're not even asking the question. We're just doing. We're just doing. We're going out protesting. We're still trying to, work our jobs and tend to our families and maybe take care of ourselves a little bit. And it's all just a bit too much. While we are bombarded with the news and all of these images, and these modern day lynchings, and then our children are walking up out the house, and we don't even have time to process that while we're trying to do all of this stuff. And then I hear this piece around guilt, where folks are feeling guilty because, if you live in the land of social media too much, you will see folks who are just straight up making folks, if you're not out there protesting, if you haven't said anything today, if you are somehow now against the movement, you are not of the people. And so people are feeling as though they're being judged. Women are feeling as though they're being judged for their silence, or even when they're speaking up, that they're doing it in the wrong way, or they're not saying it the right way. And it's just like, it can make your head spin. And when I hear women talk about it, I'm like, it's just head spinning, and there's so much on the line. There's so much at stake. So I think that really contributes to the overwhelm. And the thing that I keep coming back to for myself, Trinae, and I have shared with other people, is know your lane. If you know your lane and find your lane, lane is about purpose. Your lane is about, what am I here to do? Your lane is about what resonates with you. You ain't got to get brand new. I ain't got to go ahead and make Black Lives Matter shirts and start selling them, or going into, what do you already do? Where are you already gifted? And if you haven't been operating in your lane, if you haven't been doing the things that speak to you, now is the opportunity for you to do that. But it still should be based on what you do. So for me, my lane is around wellness and mental health, and making sure we take care of ourselves, and pushing back against folks who would make someone or anybody feel weak or less than or whatever in our community because of that. So I'm going to keep on pushing down that lane as it relates to what's happening right now, and finding ways to give us reprieve. And so I really encourage people to think about your lane, and to also, with that guilt thing, to remember that rest is a part of the resistance. Rest is revolutionary, and it is resistance. You ain't got to be moving. That's a part of the problem that we have as women anyway. So this is not an invitation that we need to take on to get up and run around some more. Yes, the work is there. Yes, it's important. But when we need to sit down, when we need to take a nap, when we need to take a time out so that we really can pour out from a place of fullness and not an empty cup, we need to recognize that that is actually doing the work. That's doing the work, learning how to sit down somewhere. So I really encourage people to do that, because that's been like a major thing for me. It's like, feeling guilty about what you're doing, what you're not doing. Like, I'm like, you know what? And then look, it's us. It's us doing that to each other.
Absolutely.
So we got to get grounded and just do the best that we can with what we have.
Yeah, I love so much of that, because whether we are not resting, and when you said rest, I thought of mental exhaustion and just physical sleep, but also just giving ourselves a mental break, like literally don't think about all of this stuff so much. Don't look at it so much. Just give it all a rest. Take a mental health day from work, because many of us are working from home and sitting at the computer more than we would if we were physically going into work. That's and right. Zooming more than we would because we don't have a commute involved in it. And so just taking all, just that whole, inward and outward rest, I hear you saying, is just so important. And it is revolutionary. It is social justice.
That's right. That's right. That's what I'm saying. Like, I'm not doing that today. I'm going to sleep.
Yes, that's revolutionary. Do it and be a rebel today. So, but then I also love what you said, because so many of us are trying to find, what am I supposed to be doing in this season of new normal, right? Everybody's trying to get brand new in the new normal. And I love that there is a lane for all of us, and all of it is still needed. We still need all of the brilliance that in every lane that was already existing. And so to continue walking in what you were doing, and or to begin walking in what you should be doing, I love it. That is just so important. And so we really try to make these a sneak peek. And a couple of the comments that have come into the chat are a perfect segue to my last question for you, because Z mentioned that she has always had a hard time finding a good fit. And I can speak for myself when it comes to a counselor. We, especially marriage counseling, ugh. You can just find some folks and you know, one of us may like them and the other one didn't. And
Right.
you know, then you find the next person and it's vice versa. We even had, bless his heart, somebody fell asleep while we were in there with him. We like, what are you like? What are you, like, are you really gonna fall asleep? The
That's the
story we
word.
are telling you is not that boring. Trust me. It
That's
kept us.
not good.
So yeah, so finding a fit is really
Yeah.
hard.
Yeah.
And then someone said that they've never been, but they would like to find one. So
Mhm.
I'd like you to talk a little bit more about perspective
Mhm.
and you know what it's going to look like for people. You've already given an overview, but when it comes to finding a good fit, what are your
Mhm.
thoughts about that? And then you can segue right into, you know, what we have to look forward to and what we
Sure.
could be a part of right now as it relates to your work.
Yeah. So a couple of things. When I think about fit, I think I've had this conversation with quite a few people, and even if we know better, we don't always show up doing this as Black people in general. And the research has really shown that a lot of times we don't walk with as much authority in terms of how we show up with the professionals, medical, mental health, or otherwise that serve us. We don't always do that. Now, that's not all of us, but as a whole, I remember having a conversation and somebody said, oh, I can ask those questions or I can tell them how I want the therapy to be. Because we see the practitioner, or whether it's, like I said, a medical doctor or a mental health person talking with you, we see them as the expert bringing us something. And so I think the thing that's really important, as I think about my life and, with my children, I've had to let doctors know, like, you're a partner of mine, because the way
Yeah.
you're talking right now is like, this is what needs to happen, especially parenting someone with chronic, special needs and that stuff, that kind of stuff. I'm like, we're partners.
Right.
So I'm telling you kind of what my thoughts are. So you need to think about therapy as a partnership. You need to change the orientation that I'm going. People are so fearful.
Can
I
I
think
say
because
something to that real
yeah,
quick?
yeah,
You just made me think about, because this is my body. Like this is
my body, my mind. Yes.
what's going on in my head. Like
Uh-huh.
I may need you to help me process it, and once it's out, you can help me here. But I got some feelings about what's happening with me. So you just made me
Yes.
think about that.
Yes. So
I can have
so
some ownership in this.
absolutely. So I want to give people permission to do that. And a good therapist knows how to take on these kinds of questions. Or they know they're not personalizing it. They know how to deal with it. So you ask questions like, have you worked with a person of color before? How is your orientation different? Do you do anything different? Is it no color? What's your philosophy, right? So asking these kinds of questions, whatever comes up for you naturally, I think is important. And of course, the energy between the two of you, that intangible, invisible thing, is always important. And that's something that you have to pay attention to. I think what's going to be so transformative, I know what's going to be so transformative and different about perspective, is that we're really changing the model, Trinae, so that when you come onto the platform, you go online and you fill out a brief questionnaire, we're going to ask you some questions that go outside of the traditional norm of what you would get, that really help us to understand your background, your cultural influence, things that are important to you, the gender of the clinician, the race, all of these things that are important in terms of your particular background. And then we are going to match you with a clinician, and you will be able to say yes or no.
Mm-hmm.
And when you go through that process, then you can then say, I want to try somebody else. And you do this all through your telephone, your computer. I say your telephone, Lord, your smartphone. I'm the old school telephone, but your tablet or what have you. And you get matched based on the unique traits and preferences that you have in terms of your whole being. And so it allows you to be in a place where you are in control of that in terms of who you want to match up with. You're able to see their bio and their background, and then you're able to move forward. The other piece that's different in terms of perspective is that it is a different model, so to speak. Traditional counseling is, usually once a week or once every 2 weeks. We got 60 minutes, maybe you got 45 or 50 to be exact, and then we're done, and you do some homework and we come back next time, which is really not it's not effective. It makes things much more prolonged to deal with when you are going through something in the moment. And so this model is a monthly unlimited counseling model. It lowers the rate significantly, but you have ongoing access to your therapist. I like to say it's your therapist in your pocket. So you can text them. You can have an audio session, you have a live session, and you have that ongoing access all month long for one very low fee as compared to out-of-pocket costs for counseling. So it allows you to just be able to be doing your work ongoing and have access ongoing with persons who you know are culturally competent. I'm telling you, it's going to change things for Black folks, because so many of us are like, but who are they? I always say Black people do talk. We do talk. We just need to know who we're talking to.
Mm-hmm.
Really
Listen,
what it is.
I'm so excited for you. I am so excited for you because I believe this is revolutionary too. I believe it is going to be a game changer. Just in the industry of therapy, just in general, it's going to make major impact. But for us as people of color, oh my goodness, I'm just so excited for that. Yes, does she do rapid relief? Do you know what rapid relief is? I don't know what that is. Somebody
You
just
say rapid relief. Is she talking about payment forms, or is she talking about?
So she can clarify for us what you mean by that. I just saw that question pop up, so I thought I'd ask because I think they'll clarify for us.
Okay.
I want people to be able to find you now. Y'all remember this is a sneak peek. Don't start your all.
Yeah, because what folks can do is go to the website and you can get in touch with me because we are taking clients in now to be able, for people who are interested in getting more information, so then when we launch next month that we can follow up. So I can give that information too.
And what's the website for us? I got you right now.
The website is tryperspective.com, tryperspective.com. Folks can go there and you can get in touch through the website. It'll tell you more information about the service and about what we do. And I'm just looking forward to all that's to come. I really am. Tryperspective.com.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So this is the website is inside the chat, and you've gotten some really good comments in here. People are really excited. Great stuff is what I'm looking at right now. Thank you so much for being here. Can I also just tell you all really quickly about go to Therapy for Black Folks. My perspective. Just look that up on Facebook because that's sort of the entree into a conversation that can open you up until everything opens up. In addition to giving your email address, just go there because wonderful community is being built there. Okay, Zalinda said rapid relief therapy for emotional distress. I guess that's
so that's a very good question. All different, because our goal in 2020 is to bring on 100 therapists. So we have a multitude of therapists who specialize in everything from DBT to CBT to EFT there's all kinds of models. So you'll be able to find the therapist who, again, is culturally competent, but also who specializes in a variety of modalities. So you'll be able to kind of view that as we bring folks on and let that out next month.
So that's great. So if that's a preference, you're able to talk about that.
Right. They can put that in their intake form, and then we can look into that. Yeah.
Well, I am so appreciative that you came and popped in with us. I know you have a million jobs and family to tend to. So thank you so much for being here. You all, this has been our sneak peek into a real conversation with real women. You have stumbled upon, or you have intentionally come to Real Women's Live Chat. We are here every Wednesday night that we have a guest at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. And it is our honor to serve you all by providing sister circles. And our sister circles are held now in this COVID season twice a month virtually. And we just held one this month for the month of June. And then at the end of the month, we're holding another. And we ask that you would join us by getting the information at realwomenrock.org. Again, realwomenrock.org. Aiyana, thank you so much. Y'all go to tryperspective.com. Thank you for being here. I love you and looking forward to talking to you soon.
All right. Thanks, Trinace.
Bye. Bye-bye.